sometimes I feel my heart is dead. Baby, tonight, baby, could I love instead? It's a beautiful day at the beach. I was losing my mind for about a week until I could call you up. I'll meet you at the waterline. Birds are flying up above. We both need a little love. Hiding a million different things. Waiting for the nighttime to see what it brings. And I'm still living deep in my head. Sometimes I feel my heart is dead. Baby, tonight, baby, could I love instead? Yeah, I'm still living deep in my head. And sometimes I feel my heart is dead. Baby, tonight, baby, could I love instead? Yes, I know we're not the same. I'm so tired of playing games. You don't have to be so hard. Just tell me your dreams, the things you like. What turns you off, what makes you doubt. I'll tell you my deepest secrets. I wanna let them out. Hiding a million different things. Waiting for the nighttime to see what it brings. And I'm still living deep in my head. And sometimes I feel my heart is dead. Baby, tonight, baby, could I love instead? Yeah, I'm still living deep in my head. And sometimes I feel my heart is dead. Baby, tonight, baby, could I love instead?
Hey there, welcome back guys. We're live with 3D Print of the Week. Special thanks to Swedish Forge, one of our viewers slash subscribers who actually sent us the STL file to this lady right here, the x23. As you can see, I started painting her. There's a video that I'll probably post on Wednesday that'll show you guys how we got this far, which is really cool because we're going to be using a wet palette that we just took out of storage. So we actually took the paints out of storage too, and believe it or not, the paints lasted over 2 years. There were a couple of colors that were gloopy, but I was able to salvage them by adding some more water and revitalizer. But as you can see, we're going to pick up where we left off. We might not sure, we might use the spray gun, the airbrush. I have to see how it goes, because sometimes you have to water it down to get that consistency, and it'll take many layers upon layers just to get her right for you. But without any further ado, let's get started. Welcome to the show, guys. We were going to try and stream to Rumble, but it looks like Rumble is down. It just says it's offline. It says it's waiting for the stream. But we can row your boat gently down no stream because Rumble is not working. Let's get ready to Rumble. But Rumble has a habit of dropping your stream anyway. You'll be streaming and then all of a sudden it just drops. And I don't like the fact that they have dynamic key as primary and a static key as secondary. It should be the other way around, but it is what it is. And you know, oh, it says end live stream, but waiting for stream. I just don't. Let's see what we have here. We can select there. Are you sure you want to make? No, we don't want to make it private. If you're sure you want to make live replay private, no. Yeah, unfortunately, it just says that, and we're pushing to it. It's possible that it generates a new key every time. I'm not sure, but we won't waste any time with that. We'll check, because we are streaming to the other format, which is, hey Jose, Jonathan, and Remy, hey, welcome to the club on Instagram. Welcome to, whoops, I put 2 W's. Welcome to the show. We are live on YouTube too. So it's a bummer that it doesn't push when you're doing a multi-stream the comments to everywhere. That's the only downside. So I'm just going to double tap here, and let me see, maybe, who knows, maybe they activated it. No. Anyway, you guys know how that works. Let me put the keyboard away. We have her colors. I just have to open up one of her files. I did some research to see which colors would work out for us here. We have a little swivelly thing here that we can use and spin her around. I'm not sure if we'll use that, but we'll see. We're using the acrylic varnish. Special thanks to Dan's wife, who told us how to use this, because I had no idea. So we put that in the what do you call it, in the paints, and mix it. You could do it after, but why not just apply and let dry, right? So this is it here. This is the wet palette. Hopefully, we painted her yesterday, and that video will post probably Wednesday. See, got her all pretty, all dolled up for you, like that woman in the office with cakes on her makeup. But we managed to get some nice texture in there. And then what we're going to try and do is, hopefully that the wet palette worked and everything is moist in there. We hope. Let's see. Nice. The only downside is that I just wish it went in like that. But look, the paints are looking good. Sweet. Everything kept moist in here. It's like spread it out though, like you were baking cookies. Airbrush thinner. Here, I'll let you guys have a look and see. Samsung me, we're gonna do me stuff. And then check it out. Look, everything stayed moist and wet. The wet palette really did work, because if you remember when we were painting, right? I think we did the first layer of her face, and I painted her face, and we had this little, I have to just do full version of me again so the other folks can see. When you go back to it, you're like, oh no, I'm gonna go back and paint it. You're like, shit, what happened? It dried up, and then it started corroding on the other thingy that we use for our brushes. So the wet palette keeps the paints fresh. But this only works for when you're painting something this size. I'm not sure when you paint something the size that Swedish Forge is painting this at. So, you know, bigger, life size, almost life size. So probably have to have buckets of that in there. So knowing that and moving forward, we're just gonna go to our desktop here, Samsung me, and then I have to leave that window open because we are feeding the people in Instagram, and I believe we have some images of her. Let's see. No, yes, we'll take that. Yes, we'll take that. Yes, that looks like it. All right, there we go. I think we'll use that one. All right, so these are her colors. She does look a little bit more whiter here though. So we have the Spanish version, El Wolverine. Spam, I hate spam calls. Well, El Wolverine. But in some of the comics she was toner, a little bit more toner. But that's okay, we could always fix that by painting her over and, you know, creating mixtures of different blends to get that white. That's just a matter of asking Alexa. I guess Alexa would tell us, right? But that's okay, we'll just move along and continue where we left off. with her over here, and then we'll just go Samsung me stuff, and then we'll just work it. I'm not sure if we're going to use the airbrush, but we do need to figure out what color is going to give us that darkish blue. Did they do her sides? Oh yeah, they even got her sides on here. Look, they got it matching to that yellow that we see on the desktop, which is kind of cool. If you go to where is it, Samsung Me, look at that. So on here, if we go to Me Stuff, you'll see that they have that little diamond thing going on over there. So the only issue we're gonna have is, we can just spin it around. Just spin your color palette. Let's see. So I'm gonna guess that, I don't really know. I don't even know what color that is. Let's try. No. Alexa, how do you make a darkish blue?
To make a dark blue, start with a dark blue base like ultramarine or Prussian blue. Then add small amounts of black paint until you reach the desired shape. Want to know how to adjust it for a warmer tone?
Yeah, how do we adjust it to a warmer tone?
To warm up your dark blue, try adding a touch of burnt umber or burnt sienna. These earth tones will give it a richer, cozier feel.
Yeah, it's kind of like turning that blue black. And we don't want...
Adding black to dark blue would make it even darker and more intense.
Oh, there we go.
Explore other ways to adjust the color instead.
Yeah, how do I make X23, her outfit, blue? What color should I mix?
For X23's blue outfit, you could mix ultramarine blue with a touch of cyan for that comic book hero look.
Cyan.
Add some depth. Try a hint of black or gray.
Black or gray, okay. Let's try that.
Black or gray would work great to deepen the blue. Black will make it darker, while gray adds depth without losing too much brightness.
Ah, it is gray. Okay, thank you. And a little bit of cyan. A little bit of...
Adding a touch of cyan will brighten up the blue nicely. That mix should give you X23's iconic look.
Yeah, I think we're gonna... Oh yeah, there we go. Right in there. That mixture... See, we got it. Almost. To some extent. No, just... Anybody know? Somebody help me? Oh wait, Swedish Forge might be able to help us. He's the one that sent the file. This looks like it. Let's see. And then we would just paint her all that color. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like it. But then we just, hopefully we'll be able to see all the lines. Let's see. Yes, a little bit. I'm gonna need more of this paint though. Looks like it. To some extent. We could always play with it a little bit. Definitely gonna need another coat. And that's why the wet palette comes in handy, because once you get your color right, and you figure out its mixture, you don't have to worry about drying it and remixing the colors again. The only issue we're gonna have is making more of that, But it's amazing how I just asked Alexa and she was able to put her bots to work and knew what colors to some extent would create the X23. And then it's just a matter of you playing with it, getting that finagle. And if you've mixed the colors already, like Alexa, stop! I wasn't talking to you. If you always listening. If anybody knows what colors to mix, please do share, because I will definitely redo my color mixture. This looks alright. She's gonna need more coats though. And it's nice that her lines are still there, so we'll still be able to... Yellow will, that yellowish I guess we'll ask Alexa for that blend. We're like, yo, Alexa, what color are, oops, never mind. Alexa, stop. What color for those stripes and the yellow? It looks pretty good to some extent. Still needs to be a little bit darker. I'm gonna get some more blue out. And let's see what Swedish Forge says. Refresh chat. My personal opinion is that it should be more blue than the color you are painting now. Okay. Yeah, that's why you're here, because I need your help. Let me find, where are my paints? Ah, the water. Damn it. I forgot about the water. I might have to go upstairs in a little bit to get some fresh water. But let's get the blues out. The blue will be easy. And I can actually, I think we have a little kit thingy over here that the palette thing comes with underneath. So you can put your brush just there. And then put that here. More blue. Yeah, you're right. It's like a, I just don't, I know how to paint, but I don't know my Pantones. That's the tricky part. The good part is we got a lot of paint. She said cyan, like the cayenne pepper. I only have fluorescent, and then I have scarlet, and then I have cadmium. Cadmium might be a little bit. For sure, we need the yellow, but then we have different. We have lemon yellow and yellow pale. Let's try yellow pale. No, lemon yellow and blue. We'll use those two. And then I have to go upstairs and get some water. Even though the bathroom's next door, the water here is hard. So don't want to use hard water if we do wind up using the airbrush. Let's see. I have a cup here. One go here. One go there. Okay, we have that. Let's see if we can get some more blue. Like you see in the picture of her, she is blue, yellow, not dark blue. Yeah, I know. But the good thing is, there are no mistakes in art. Right? Alright. And I could use one of these old thingies. I wonder if it'll let me. I'm gonna use. Definitely gotta get a paper towel. Well, these things come in handy. These little things you use for sanding. The ones that you rinse off, and if it doesn't work anymore, just take the old one and use them for your paints, and then you can wash them too. I have a fresh one right over there though, and then you can put these in the cup. Right, and then she said a little bit of yellow. Oh, I gotta get a paper towel. Where am I printing? Oh man, I never took off the squirt thingy. She said yellow. Maybe we'll squirt them out. But I gotta remember to put that back on because that saves your print. It salvages it. Not print, your paint. Because when you seal it later, you're fine. The paints hold out as long as you put that thing back on. I'm gonna go get some water and paper towels. put this in the bowl. Get me my 2 cups, and looks like a paint is open. Oh, the blue. Definitely want to close the lids on that. And then bring my cups with me. So we got the water. Don't need my phone. And then we have our pink brushes. Alexa, what colors do I need to mix to make X23 blue for her outfit?
For X23's blue, mix ultramarine blue with a touch of cyan. Add a hint of black for depth.
Okay, that's the closest we got to cyan. And then let's take a little bit, right, and experiment. Actually, we have a little bit over there. A little black, we'll use this little thing. And then we'll use, this looks like cyan. And maybe. Might be it. It's a little bit darker. Let's see. It's not fully mixed though. This one might be it. So you got a lot of shade going on though. You know, I need to get that. A little bit better. I could see where the black comes in. We could probably do blending to get that shadowing of the black in. But I definitely recommend, like, if you're gonna paint her in pieces, and make sure you get like a wet palette or some sort, so that you can maintain that consistency of your paint color. The airbrush is going to be harder unless you have a professional one. I'll use it a little bit later. We'll paint the little mini X23 we have over there that we had before we scaled it up. Because if you use the airbrush I have, it's more for like makeup, which is fine. You could use it for paints too, but it hold on, you have to water it down, which means that to get this layer that I'm doing right now, you probably have to do 3 or 4, something like that, 3 or 4 coats to get like one layer of normal paint mixture, unless you had like a paint. Have you primed? Oh yeah, no, I didn't prime before painting, but I did forget to add the varnish. Yeah, no prime. We're skipping the prime part. But you can prime if you want. But thanks for reminding me about priming, because I forgot the varnish. So the varnish is gonna give her that glossy look, so that you could apply it afterwards. Some people do that, but you don't have to. My neighbor teaches art at the high school in another town, and she's the one that actually recommended the varnish that we're using, because she does a lot of art. She's actually having an art show installation next week, which is pretty wild, because a lot of times when you do those art shows, you have to pay. They're not free, you know, and then you have to showcase your work, and you got to get your stuff framed, and after you get your stuff framed, you pray that someone will buy it, right? I did that with the pictures behind me. I had them framed, and I had my own show, but it was a show at the Arboretum on the other side of town, and then it was a one-day show. So the show that she's doing is going to last like a month or two, which is kind of cool. And the one I did was one day, and I had my pictures posted for like $5. How much is this? Oh, the price is still on here. Here, look, I'll show you. I don't know if it's going to ruin it. Nope. So $250, 16 by 20 canvas. I was hoping that they would sell, and the one behind me I think was for $500, and the other one above it was like $650. And yeah, good luck with that. You wind up carrying your shit back home. No one buys it. No one really. Maybe, you know, like someone will buy it if you had the show at the library, for sure, because they get a lot of traffic. But at the Arboretum there wasn't that much traffic, and it was just a little bit of a bummer that it didn't sell. But then if you look at back in the day when I had the channel, there was nothing in the room, you know, and then I sort of you know, things kind of upgraded, and I was like, you know what, I had them in storage. Like everyone I met who did an art show, they carry their shit out and put it all in storage. And then I took it out of the attic. I was like, you know what, let me put it in here. It'll make the room so much more entertaining. And then now they're hanging here. I think about doing another show, but if you want to do a show, they're not free. You actually have to pay to display. Pay to play. Don't hate the player. Yeah, so kudos to her on that, because I think she said she's got some stuff framed, and that's not cheap. But you know, you got to be in it to win it. But everyone I met who's done art shows, they always carry their shit back home and have more stuff in storage than they do in sales. You could do those websites though. I have a friend who does that. Her name is Bridget, and she basically, everything she paints, she frames and sells on her website. You could do that too. Nice, we found the blue. Look at that. Oh, we had a ding. Yo. I don't know if the views on Instagram can see I'm writing, but to the guy who asked about x23, the answer is yes. Oh, let's see. Hold on. I will check. And look, we've got a wet palette, so there's no hurry. We can actually put it on this thing that, whoops, comes with it. Hold on. And now it's still got the paint stuck in my hand. Alright, hold on. Yeah, and Swedish Forge is the one who sent us this file, this STL file that we printed. Special thanks to him. And now that my hands don't have any more paint on it, we will check the Instagram comments and make sure that his channel is actually live in the link that we're streaming to, because we want it all in real time. We don't want to link you after. So let's see what we have here. Samsung me. And then we'll go here to our Instagram. Wait to the person. Yeah, the answer is yes. Well, I don't know. I didn't see what they asked. But yeah, the comments don't post for me. You guys might see it, which is really weird. That's the downside to multi-streaming. But there's Instagram view, which is right here. Not view, but like the portrait mode. So if we go to my channel, and then you'll see live, you'll see double. But comments come in vertical and horizontal. So this is nice. I'll just stop this so there's no echo. It's Wolverine figure, x23. Oh yeah, so in the YouTube Shorts. This is the YouTube Shorts mode. Al Jules. Hey, what's up, Al? Hey, Caden Farmers. Nice to know that you guys are here. Charlie Freckle. And let me just leave a double chat window. Is this your room? Yes, this is the room of creations. Might as well put a bed in here because I spend more time in here than in my own. But let's do pop out chat. And then, yeah, this is where all the magic happens. We'll go here, we'll close that. We'll leave that here because we have to leave that open. And then we'll have one chat window here. We'll shrink this one. Don't worry, I'll let you guys see too. So that when we come back into it, the other one I can see, so that's not a problem. So we can just leave one here. And as you can see, the main feed, I just need this one for me so that if I reply back, and I can just say something like, yep, it's the room of creations. I can't remember if it was Swedish Forge or Market Bay that came up with the name. Or was it Midnight Off-Road Runner? I can't remember. But now let's go back and make sure the links to the you know, people tagged in the show are live. Just gonna go here, go there, go into not Facebook. I can't stream to Facebook because you need 1,000 followers. As you can see, it's already a pain just to even maintain the comments for this particular feed. So let's go here, head over heels for you. The reason why I chose head over heels is because we started off with her head and then her heels too. Where is Swedish Forge? I see 3D printing. Huh, that's so weird. I don't see it. Oh yeah, it is there, but it's not. I don't know why it does that. So I'll just go to edit video. Hopefully it doesn't crash our stream. And then take that out. And go here and then there it is. I don't know why it does that. It shouldn't. Like when you tag, the only way to bring it to life is after you're live, which makes no sense. Anyway, well, that's good for business because when that happens, we can say, welcome back to Everything That Glitches. And then now, back to our show. So this was it. Cadmium red. Was it cadmium? I don't even know what freaking colors I use. That's the only downside. But the cadmium red is the closest we got to cayenne. And then we have the yellow, which we've got too much of. We'll probably wind up putting more of that back in its container. Because we only need to paint the contour lines. So, you know, knowing that moving forward, I need to move this out of the way so I don't accidentally put it on my, forget my hands. I got it on the table. That's all right though. Like they say, there are no mistakes in art. All right, so then we have here. I might have to move this swivel thing though, out of the way so that we can get a better view. This was just for the show and tell. Whoops. Whoa, whoops. Don't break your stuff. Almost spilt the water. There we are. See, so we can get more of her in the frame. And then move that up. Move this down. Don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. See, and we got that shade we were looking for. This was luck though. You know? Pure luck. A little bit. And then we can, to brighten it up, right? We can add the real blue on top of it. See? Not bad. Oops. Let's go here. Let's bring her to the front. There. It's alright. I don't know. Lou, how tall is she? X23 printed. She's about 9 inches or so. I have a ruler somewhere over here. I had one. It's like, where is everything when you want it? you could never find things when you need it. Like, watch it show up. She is exactly. Where's my ruler? That is so weird. I had one in here, but I don't know where it is. Maybe it's back there. Whoops, don't break your stuff. It's alright. It's just a Pablo Pico. That is so weird. I remember having it handy. Oh, I know where it is. She is, without her head, of course, exactly, oh wow, 6.5 inches, which is 22 centimeters. And probably with her head, she'd be 8 inches, which is about 18 centimeters. So she's pretty tall, but not as tall as yours. Yours you can put in the side of your car in the passenger seat, and you know, when you're driving in the lane where it says must, you know, have someone in the passenger side between the hours of 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. you qualify because she's like life size. Yeah, so you're lucky, but you're gonna need a lot of paint to paint her. 1.5 meters. Don't know what that will be like for you in the US. Alexa, how tall is 1.5 meters compared to in inches? Are you kidding?
1.5 meters equals about 59 inches, which is just under 5 feet tall.
Holy shit. Wow, 5 feet tall. That is insane. That's, yeah, I don't know. That's a lot of, that's a lot of paint. You're gonna need buckets, man. Literally. A bucket of whatever your favorite mix of. And you know what? The good thing about that, needing paint, you could go to the paint store, and if you find the Pantone color, you won't be doing what I'm doing. You're gonna be lucky, because you'd be like, make me this color, right? And then they'll do it. So your X23 is gonna be true to everything, color, form, size, because she's about 5 something in real life, right? Yeah, so it makes sense. I just hope you find a buyer. I'm pretty sure you will, and local too, so you don't. Well, I guess if you're in Europe, you're fine. You know, to pay for shipping. Let's say if someone in Italy is like, my friend, I like it's very nice, please ship to me, and then they're like, bueno, and then like they'll pay, and it's not like shipping in the US, right? You can ship it to your new buyer so they can have it in their new home. That's really here. I'm gonna try. Honestly, I'm gonna see what happens. I'm gonna put this up on eBay. I wonder if you could do like when people are selling their homes, like the builder, where they break the land and then they're building a house, right? And the house is being built, and then the house is even finished, and then they still have a for sale sign on it. I wonder if I could, because we're not going to finish this today. I wonder if I could like, as far as we get today, and when she's finished, put a for sale sign. This will be yours when done, and then have a picture have a picture of this one, right, of her. Do like a bait and switch. The true Marvel connoisseur would be like, what the fuck, man, I paid for X23, those aren't even her colors. But but we'll have a picture of her for sale, you know, like she's gonna be sold before she's finished, like they do with the homes around here, you know. I was like, because sometimes when I was riding my bicycle, I was like, what the fuck? The house isn't even finished yet, and it's already for sale. It's insane. You gotta make sure you move your stuff. Haha, if I had her in the car, the police would stop me thinking I had a dead body. Yeah, I know, right? People do that here, though. So in the U.S., because people want to ride in the Easy Pass lane, whatever it's called, HOV, right? It's called an HOV lane, and it's like, and what happens is when you're in the HOV lane, you can go faster, and you don't have to worry about the traffic. And so sometimes there'll be articles in the newspaper, breaking news, where people will have been busted for being in the HOV lane with a mannequin. But yours doesn't really qualify as a mannequin. You could say you're transporting her, right? Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, so that's how it works here in the HOV lane. This is nice. So remember, we're gonna paint her. I need some Kaon. And then the belt we have to, so we're going to paint her all this. Think of this as her prime, right? And then because we're going to have to paint over everything this color, and then when we do her belt, hopefully Alexa will get us the right color for her belt, you know, just mixing it on instead of mixing the paint, just to try and get that blue. I like how it goes on wet though, because if we were using the airbrush that I have, I don't think we get that lucky. We'd have to do layers. Like my first layer wouldn't even be this thick. Maybe Swedish Forge can help us with like, what do you do to make the paint thicker when in the airbrush so it sticks on like that, or you have to just keep layering it and spraying it, caking it on, like that lady in the office who cakes on her makeup. I'm curious. And we got a little bit. Let's try this one. As for the cyan, make it a little bit darker since we got black. All right. Let's see what he says. It will be exciting to see how this goes. Good luck, Lou. You're messing up a lot. Yeah, I know. But like they say, there are no mistakes in art. Thankfully, I'm not selling her. And, you know, this is for fun. And we know we got a few things right. We put the varnish in the paint, right? Which is fine. That'll give her shine. We sanded her down. We put the paint in her grooves, right? Not paint, the filling, the Drydex, right? We got that part right. And then we basically got everything right except for the priming and the what do they call it? And the color, you know? So it's as close as we get. We're not, what do they call them? Curators. Well, I'm not a curator, so I don't know. But it'd be nice if you shared what the color mix is. Then, you know, you could stop complaining, because I don't know the color mix, you know? Color mixing is not my thing. So please do share. Share everything. Don't just share the disappointment. Share a solution, right? That will bring us to the next level and level up. But this part feels nice. Yeah, look at that. But we know the yellow, I don't even know what freaking, it's like a lime. I think the one I have on here is lime. Alexa, what color do I use to mix X20 to make X23 yellow for her outfit?
For X23's yellow, mix a bright yellow with a touch of green.
Nice.
Add a hint of black for depth.
Okay, black for depth. All right.
Interesting choice. Black can
All right, that's fine. I just said I wasn't. Alexa, stop. This new Alexa is just freaking. I hate her upgrade. Oh wait, I said her name. Alexa, stop. She was like in listening mode. I was ready to reply. She was like, "Yeah, I got to figure out how to shut that off." Pretty sure a lot of people are having that same issue. Because before you would ask her a question, and then she would answer it, and then that's it. Now there's like a buffer space after you finish talking. She is still listening, and so whatever you say after the next 5 to 10 seconds, as you saw, she will reply back, and she'll be like, she put her 2 cents in. I'm like, no, I wasn't talking to you. Wow, her butt feels so real though. Like when I run the paintbrush down, yeah, they really got that part right. Sweet. But we want the print to like absorb the paint, because even if we get the color wrong and we finally get it right in the mix, when she's dry, think of this as her prime, right? And then we'll have the correct color. But I can't wait to see how this comes out though too myself, even for the fun of it. Like I'm not. I always tell people I'm not an expert. It's just the process, and and it's all about the process, and then the technique comes later. Like mixing the colors, getting her grooves a little bit better than what we have right now, and this is our first one, our first 3D, our first 3D print that we're painting live. If you Google the channel, not Google it, but like search in the channel, you'll see that we've painted stuff before with these paints over a year ago, and worked out pretty good, to be honest with you. I think we painted the ferret, might have been the ferret. Definitely gonna need to. This is why ideally you should paint her in pieces, so that the hardest part's going to be the belt, because we're not going to be able to go so freely on there, like now I can paint over everything, and because with the belt, we have the color. The belt should be easy. It's like, hopefully Alexa can help us with that. Oh look, there's a little hole in her head. Might be able to stick some clay in there, and make like a lollipop out of her, so I can paint the rest of her, but you will have fun painting her butt. It feels so real. Yeah, let's see what he says. Black, as Alexa said, I think she means you should do this. Take some black and dilute it in the water to get depth, like shadows in the muscles. Oh, I like that idea. Oh yeah. Let's see if we can get some black. Yeah, oh yeah, look at that. That's so cool. Of course we want to, have that version there. And then we could add the black later. We can do like I did. Great idea, Swedish Forge. We can do like I did with the ferret when we did the blending. Sort of like, don't want to blend it too much while it's wet. The blending effect works well when it's dry, or even with airbrush, but I don't think we'll be using the airbrush, to be honest with you. That thing's a pain in the butt to clean. but we'll try. I'm going to try the airbrush on another video when we do the little piece, this piece. We'll see how successful. Interesting. I had the paintbrush in my mouth. And I think it closed on my lips. Give me 1 second. One moment, please. Please stand by. I had it somewhere. It probably fell behind there somewhere. It's fine, we'll get it another time. Always something. Actually, let me look under the table. Dilute black so it becomes 60% water and 40% paint. Cool. Okay. I just had to put some Vaseline on my lips because I had the paintbrush in my mouth, and then when I took it out, it stuck. Okay. Dilute black, so it's 60% water and 60% paint. We'll do that one in a little bit because I just want to use the blue on her, and then we can do the black. But I see what you mean though, because look, we added some there and it adds some nice tone. Wow, it's getting there to some extent. She could be a little bit more brighter. So think of this as the prime, right? And as we on-prime her and apply that blue, right? The darker blue comes out almost as good. And you don't need any fancy brush. These are some El Cheapo brushes from Amazon. It costs like $3. And then there's a kit. The kit has fancier brushes. But the brushes that the kit comes with are more for the detail. So when we start to do her lines, like when I put the makeup on her, when I did her lips yesterday in that video, like that. But we will use some more of this blue to bring out our boots, and it blends really well. You know, mixing it to add those shadows. And just keep working it. See? To some extent. The hardest part is gonna be, oh man, didn't realize that her back of her legs, her calves. Yeah, that's why I recommend painting her in pieces. And if you go to the paint store and you know her Pantone colors, you're ahead of the game. You're literally you're gonna be superstar, rock star, because you Don't have to worry about being a curator for the Museum of Natural History. Those people are amazing that can just mix the paints, right? I'm like, oh yeah, and then they restore the art to its original form. That is phenomenal. So this part's gonna be tricky. I guess not. I just have to hold her. She's glued together. So I have that same brush too. See, yeah, he has the same brush. Look, this is like really nice from Amazon, and you get a whole bunch. I have more in the box behind me, and it works really. Oh, it works really well until you forget to mix the colors. So you know, just don't worry about it. That's why you wanna. See, we got it. We got it. We can fix it. It's fixable. Got her belt. Yeah, this brush is great. I also use this brush when we do our soldering videos. You know, this is the same brush that I use to when I put the flux on. Not this one, but this one. This one still has flux on it. We're gonna do a soldering video next week, and I think we're gonna build a calculator. It'll be really cool. Yeah, the flux never goes bad. There's her belt. Can you imagine when I put this on eBay? Remember how they would hunt me down for the STL file? They'd be like, yo, that's my STL file. You got to become a Patreon if you want to sell it. And then in this case, I'll probably get emails from potential buyers and be like, yo, bro, what the fuck is that? That's not the x23. Those aren't even her colors. You know, I get reported for selling counterfeit contraband. It's the LX23. It's Hispanic version, Italiano, because she got like she got a nice complexion, like she's been in the sun for beautiful in the tan on the beach, sitting on the French Riviera. Yeah, so you need to get all her colors right. But for your size, you're lucky. Well, I guess you could. Like, who else has that color? I wonder if you're allowed. I have to go to the paint store and see. I wonder if they at the paint store, because you know how they have the sample sizes of paints. I wonder if you can mix the samples. Like you say, hey, can you mix this in this color? That would be cool if you can do that. But she's looking pretty good. No, too sexy. Hardest part is getting in there. See, I'm not even using the fancy brush, and this works. But you're going to have to use the fancier brush when you start doing her details. That's going to be the hard part. And then in there, yeah, you just dab that in there. Because we're going to use, for the color for the belt, that'll be easy. The color for that yellow, that's going to be a little bit tricky. This is nice though. I like it. I could see myself doing another 3D print like this, or just taking the little spaceman that we have in front of us and painting him, bringing him to life. I told you that the construction of the airbrush booth is now complete, and tomorrow I will receive the air filter I ordered from Amazon. Then I will start painting my x23. I can't wait to see that. Like, if you want to level up and not do what I'm doing right here, go to x23. Go to x23 streams. Go to Swedish Forge's channel, because he's going to be live streaming his airbrushing, which is kind of cool. And I'm definitely gonna check that out, because I would love to know how to airbrush. But don't just airbrush your stuff and stream it. Start with the setup. People like that. It's like oh man, I forgot. It's like I was going to say ASMR, but I forgot to tag this video and add those ASMR tags, because people like that. People like watching this, like me doing that with the paintbrush, but people also like watching the airbrush experience too. Stay tuned on Swedish Forge's channel on the live stream. What time is that stream going to be? So if anyone watching wants to see a live airbrushing of the real x23 colors, and oh wow, be careful with your paints, don't drip it, because it will dry on. And then just get in the, because the detail is going to come later. The only downside to doing what I'm doing is that even if I did get the colors correct, it's going to be hard to maintain that unless you have like a bucket of paint, you know, a little can that was pre-mixed at the paint store, or you're good at, you know, like a curator and know how to mix your colors, because the odds of getting that same tone again are a little tricky. Not that it can't be done, pretty sure it could, but you know, remember, this is our first one, our first 3D print that we're printing on the live stream. We've printed before, but we just, like, you know, red is red, blue is blue, but this is beyond red is red, blue is blue. This is like, you really want to mix her colors so that she doesn't look like this. This kind of, these colors are more like my big pen exploded. Literally. But you can fix it by toning her up, right? Adding that mixture that works out just right for you. Like Swedish Forge had said, mix the black so that it is X percentage water. Keep your eyes open after the live stream. Don't know what time it will be. Okay. It's okay. We'll keep our eyes open. I'm gonna unsubscribe to your channel and unsubscribe again, because this way my notifications are fresh. Because for some reason that happens sometimes. You ever subscribe to a channel and then you're like, wait, I'm subscribed, but I didn't get any notifications. So I think if I redo it, you know, like and I saw some other YouTubers said to do that, like unsubscribe and resubscribe again, so that you can continue to get notifications. I'm like, what? It's looking good. Getting there. And she's going to need another coat anyway, so think of this as her prime. So like after this stream, I like the shadowing though. I like the idea of the black, adding some black in there. But I could see how this can become expensive, because we are painting her and we're using, you saw that big glob of blue that I put there, right? It's a lot that she's absorbing, so she's probably absorbing it, which is great. But acrylic paints don't come cheap. But I guess maybe mine, because it was a set. So if you need that one color, I think it should, I don't know, I have to look it up on Amazon and see how it costs. Because there are going to be certain colors, like it comes with an abundance of all these different colors, but there are going to be certain colors that you only use. That, you know, like, oh, I'm going to use this color more white. I wonder what happens if I do that. It doesn't really do much. But how do they clean their clothes, these superheroes? Like, where do they do their laundry? Like, because their outfits are always so perfect. Like those TikTokers. You ever see those TikTokers that do the everyday, like, is a different outfit? Or sometimes they have multiple videos of like different outfit changes during the day. I'm like, what? How the fuck do you do that? I don't even have that many. See me, I always have the same shirt on or something. I always wondered how they get so much clothing. And then what do they do with all that clothing? You know, like, do they donate it, or like, do they have like a whole walk-in closet? And you got to make sure everything is pressed and ironed, so that when you do your dance and your outfit swap, you know, it looks like it just came out of the store to some extent. I don't know. No, we don't do outfit changings. I thought about doing an outfit change video though, for like a little satire type thing, for like what to do with the DJI band therefore as a content redirect for your drone channel. You can be like a Instagram superstar. Instead of the dancer, you would be doing your outfit changes. I have one where I was like I think it was the dancer, but was there an outfit change? No, I think I had a coat on or something under my jacket. Not bad. It's a lot of blue though that was used. Do it, Lou. Sounds good. Thanks. Yeah, I will. I will do it. It's just a matter of time. It's just snowing. It's like the weather is so... We got more snow this year than we did last year. And don't forget to tag... Not tag. You can tag. I think you can tag product. Don't forget to tag... not tag, but put links of whatever you're using for your live stream, like the airbrush, the paints, the colors. I can't do that because I'm not, you know, I mean, I could leave the product, but I can't leave the I'll leave a link to, I left a link to the paints in my stream. I left a link to the brushes. I have to see if I left a link to this brush though. But the colors, if you like went to the paint store, so we know what Pantone color to use. We like Pantone green, red, blue. Looking good. I think what's going to happen is with this one is that the colors, the yellow and her belt and her boots, those stripes, which will really tedious process, is what's going to bring her to life. I think so. But I'm going to try while she's drying and when we sign off with this live feed. I'll probably come back on again later in the week. Mixing her colors to see if I can somehow get her true to form, you know. But I feel bad for Swedish Forge because he, like, I have this little palette thing here. Like, you're gonna have to, whatever size bucket you get, you got to make sure you get it right the first time because it's going to be expensive repair. But make sure you find a buyer too. That'll be kind of cool though if you can find someone who will buy that. I'm gonna put mine on eBay too and see. Uncle L x23 right, because she looks a little tan, like she's from Italy, northern part of Italy. This is cool. Thanks for suggesting this. I don't know, you know, like why I didn't do this a long time ago. Oh, look at that. Yeah, I think she's getting there. I'm gonna need some more blue. Wow, but the whatchamacallit, it really absorbs the paint. The 3D print, you know, it's pretty wild how that does that. I didn't know. Remember to put the varnish on. Well, you know, because you've been doing this longer than I have. But I mix my varnish in the paint, so I don't have to. It saves time. But only mix it. Like for me, I'm mixing it because we're doing this for fun. But I would say only mix it if you know the colors are correct, because it be kind of tricky doing a double varn, you know, on top of a varn, and then you have to layer it upon layer. Why is she be looking like Black Panther? Right? Literally. Is that Black Panther or X23? I don't know, man. It's looking like... Well, we have to all the other hard part, which I would recommend. That's painting her in pieces, because when you want to get her yellow inside her ribs, that's going to be hard. So don't put her arms together. Don't glue them, because you want to get those lines, you know, which is a little bit of a bummer, because I'm not going to be able to get those lines. I mean, I can. It's going to be tricky. For sure, when she's dry, I'll be able to do it. She's definitely going to need another coat to get that. But I like how mixing the black does create those shadows and depth in her. She could be like, you know how there's a good Spider-Man and a bad Spider-Man? She could be, you know, like X23.4, right? That's how I'm gonna, you know what? That's what I'm gonna do when I put her on eBay. I'll send you the link once she's all set up. X23.4, and then people will be like, well, why X23.4? Oh, because she's like the darker version of X23. It's like, you know, similar to, I don't know, I'll come up with some BS to upsell her so that it just works out. Let's see. Wow, we used a lot though. That was a big glob of blue, you know? It's pretty wild. For her claws, we're gonna, you know, give them definitely some high gloss gray. Hopefully Alexa will help us with that. Yeah, it's gonna be the only one. The middle part will be easy because that's like the yellow and black lines, right? Which is really cool. Not that we have enough black going on there, but definitely she needs a little more blue because she's the L Black Panther version of. And then all the other details we're gonna do later. So think of this as her prime. See? I'll put her here. I can get her under there. And then I need to find the blue. Which is right here. Did I take off the little thingy? So with the blue, you can take the cap off and just be generous with it, because she's gonna eat that shit up, you know, which is a little bit of a bummer. But I want to see after this stream if I could, if you can buy these colors individually. Because, like, what if I just need this blue, right? And I don't need... And where's our dropper? Our droplet thingy. One moment, please. I had it somewhere. It was this little thing you put in the water. It's like a straw. And you could use it to take a drop of water and put it in. To some extent. Hold on. Oh, I found it. Should actually keep it with the paint supplies. Here we go. This thingy right here. So what we do is just a little bit. 1 drop. Come on, you got this. There we go. And then we would put our varnish in. Where's the varnish? We only do 1 drop. Actually, you could, maybe instead of using water, right? You could use the varnish. You ever do that? What do you think, Swedish Forge? We definitely need more water on the wet palette. See how it's drying up. Sponge is drying. Is it dry? Oh yeah. Anyway, we'll just mix it in there. You want to make sure that your wet palette stays wet. Otherwise, it's the end of your paints. Where do we get the water in from, though? I don't know, maybe there? Nice. Seeing the sponges, it's traveling all around. Kind of like that iPad screen protector. You see how it just like absorbs everything? So you do want to keep your wet palette wet, and then the water come in from its corners, because the sponge is going to absorb it. Wow. So wherever you think you might need more water, you can press like it's a screen protector, and you'll know what parts need more water, because I can tell by looking at it. It's just dry, but you want to get it in those edges. See? It's like working like a screen protector. Must be dry in here, because it's like absorbing the water. Just mixing the varnish in. Varnish gives her that little... Watering it down actually changes the shade of the blue too. See how it went from like a really dark cobalt to this other texture of blue. You know, play with it, mix the colors until you get her, get her to your likings. Just want to see a second what that does. A little bit. What does that do? Nah, that's not good. That would be good for the edges, if you wanted to like edge her out. And then we got a little bit there. It's drying pretty fast though. I like that. Like to the point where you can easily get away with putting another coat on. See how the color is becoming a little bit more like her suit to some extent. Wow, it's like becoming so dry that I might be able to apply and let dry the second coat without leaving the second coat for another episode of Let's Fuck Shit Up with our paints. But yeah, look, I'm holding it in my hand and nothing is sticking to my hand. So the paint's drying pretty fast, which is great. I wish Heather was here. She would know. She would like be able to mix the colors. I should have asked her before I left her house I was talking to her at her door, and I was like, damn it. There were two things I wanted to know. One is these colors to mix, and the other one was can't remember. Oh, I think I texted her, but it doesn't matter. It's too late now. We're on our own. I'm gonna have to wing it, but it's coming out pretty good. I like it. Yeah, baby. Looking good. And the funny thing is that also when it's wet, right, its true color isn't going to appear until it's dry. So sometimes you got to wait for it to dry, apply and let dry before you actually move forward with anything, you know? And you're like, oh, that's that shade. And then you gotta like start again. Maybe a little bit of black. And you can take paint from other parts of her body and paint it if you're using this brush, you know, so it doesn't except sometimes you might have to hold her from the base. See, it's getting there. We're gonna have to paint the base too. The base doesn't matter. The base is for me. I'm not gonna go crazy painting the base. I should have painted it. Yeah, you paint it last. You know. I don't know what color the base is gonna be. Let's just use a trophy, right? So I don't know. Maybe. Oh yeah, I don't know. Rockish. A rock color. If I can get, see, we're getting there. Almost. I remember that yellow. If we can get that yellow right, that's what's going to bring her to life. That yellow seam. Yellow, those lines. Whoops. Did I get paint on the camera? Nope. Watch your camera. It'll come off, but I'd hate to have to stop the live stream because I messed up. Yeah, baby. Alexa, what color do I get to the x23 yellow on her costume? What mix?
What exactly
The yellow part, the yellow stripes, what mix do I need to get that?
To get x23's yellow, you typically mix yellow and a touch of red for warmth. For a bright, vibrant yellow like hers, try mixing equal parts yellow and a bit of red paint.
We can do that.
Great.
Blue, I must
Mixing
go.
yellow and a touch of
Yeah, I'll see you later. Yeah, don't worry.
X23's
This is different than a Alexa, stop. A troubleshooting. This is just like for the ASMR folks. No need to stay because you know, when we do a soldering video. That's why make sure you tag your stuff ASMR, because they will love it. They will love you for it. So that comes up because they're the ones who like stuff like this. But for the soldering videos, the how-to videos, this isn't really, you know, we're beyond how-to with this. This is like if you want to relax instead of watching the fireplace. But no, thank you for this print. Thanks for staying as long as you have, and we'll catch you guys when we do the like 3D print of the week, where we're going to be printing and troubleshooting. I'll find a new one. I think maybe we'll throw Ken's in this week. Ken has one. Ken's next in line, and then we can continue with her next week when we get more. But don't worry about it. We got like a thank you for this. You helped level up the channel. You brought the channel to the next level, because now when we do a 3D print, we gotta ask ourselves, are we gonna paint it? Right? Now that, you know, because I took everything out of storage. The hands we'll do again. The claws we'll do last. What did he say? Peace out. Peace out. Good luck with your paints. Can't wait to see, because he's got to get ready. You know, like he really does. He's got to prep his stuff. I got paper bags just in case. I thought I was gonna spray her. You know, you gotta seal off stuff. He's getting a filter, you know, so he doesn't breathe. Make sure everything works. And he's have to do a test run. Forget about this palette thing we just did. You know, I remember when I sprayed the dresser in our room, I had to sand it down and then spray it, and I had to make sure the water mixture was correct for the paint, so that it would go through. And then forget about that, I had to prime it. I hate priming, man. That's why I just jumped right into her and just said fuck prime. I'm just gonna throw the what do they call it, varnish in there. But I want to see if she sells. We're gonna put her on eBay, you know. She should sell. Hardest part's going to be those lines. Those lines are key. Key to everything. So that you can see. I think that's enough. You can only do so much, you know. And some more blue, the real blue. Because that's going to help bring it the bluish black. It's not bad. Looks better like that, if you ask me. Oops. Oh wow, I almost forgot her heel. The sole of her shoe. This actually isn't so bad. Hey, does the type of paint you use matter depending on PLA you use for 3D printer, or would the paint choice not matter as much as long as you sand it? Honestly, it's acrylic paint, so I'm not painting to sell. I might sell it. I might put it on eBay again and see what happens. But it's just, it's going to give you, if you sand it down, right? This is printed in PLA, and you wouldn't know unless I told you, depending on the version of the material. PETG, it all depends on the color of your filament. So I'm having pretty good success here. You could always go to 3D printing for beginners and pros. And someone, will chime in and be like, yo, you can't do that. Or someone be like me and be like, yo, there are no mistakes in art. If it works, it's working. You're okay. As long as you put this in, the varnish. The varnish is what's going to give you that shine / finish, which is great. And I mix my varnish with the paint so that I can apply and let dry and not have to let it dry and then put the varnish on again. But either way, at the end of the day, as long as you're using the acrylic paints, the end will look something like this. See how, I think we're done with here. And it works out well, but just sand it. Sanding it and using the varnish is going to give you that character finish. And then the rest, it's just more preference. You could always Google it, but as you can see, I'm breaking every rule, so I'm having fun, and it's working out well, But this is Hyper PLA. Either way, you're painting plastic, right? So I think the hardest part about painting it is going to be getting the mixture right. In this case, the other fellow who was here before shared that these colors are wrong, but they look pretty good. It's so wrong that I love it, because you have to love it. And again, if you're not going to sell the piece, we will make her as best as we can, the closest that we could to her true form. But don't kick yourself in the butt about having the right colors unless you're going to sell it. If you're going to sell it and then you have a Marvel connoisseur come your way and be like, yo, what the fuck is that? That's not, those aren't her colors. You know, like those the ones that you find at the what is it, Comic-Con or something like that, where they dress up in the outfits. My friend Jamal, he would know. He makes costumes with his 3D printer, and he goes to Comic-Con, and you would never know. Actually, I should have reached out to him because he would definitely be able to help with those colors. He's hardcore. He's like the true, you know, 3D printing, costume making fella, where he just goes to town and you know, knows everything there is to know about 3D printing. And actually, yeah, I should reach out to, and painting and colors and comics. He actually used to. Should see what he's doing these days, because he does it as a hobby. He doesn't do it for not like his job. He should have, though. He should, like, he's that good where he can like do movie stuff. But sometimes you don't want to do movie stuff, you know, like because it's different when you're doing it for fun, and then when you're doing it for a movie, the pressure, you know, your boss breathing all over you, being like, yo, we need to fix this. I hate, like, when all of a sudden, I remember I used to edit and I used to go on these jobs, and then I'd be like, oh my god, this is so cool, they're gonna love it. And then now all of a sudden the guy, you know, who gave you the project is an expert in video editing, and then you're like, you just want to leave. You're like, I gotta get out of here, I can't, because now they know everything there is to know, and now you're being directed on what to do, micromanaged. So I could see why Jamal doesn't do it for anyone but himself, because of the micromanage. And plus there's no money in art anyway, you know, unless you take this STL file and put it on eBay. I'm gonna try and see how it sells. Last time they found me, they were like, please don't sell my print unless you become a Patreon. I was like, what? I'd have to sell like 50 of these to like break even. I wonder how they're doing that, though, because when you sell these, right, a lot of them on eBay, they're offering free shipping. I don't know, I'll have to see. Let's see what he says. That was my issue entirely, because I would just use paint around the house and from my younger relatives, and it wouldn't really stick the way I wanted it to. So to get the, these are the paints I'm using. Look in the description below. These are, you need acrylic paints. So the acrylic paints will stick no matter what your print is. As for, and then when you get your acrylic paint, make sure you get the varnish, because the varnish is going to give it that shine, like, so that it looks like you bought it from the comic book store. You know how they have these figurines at the comic book store? So that will, the varnish will have that effect. And then the paint will stick no matter what, as long as you, well, you know, as long as you are patient, because this is probably the second layer. She's looking pretty good, though. Let's see how she looks, you know, and then you'll have fun. Have fun with it. Let's see, Samsung. One moment, please. See? She's looking good. And what's gonna bring her to life are the details. So cake it on, not cake it on, but just brush it around, you know, like we're doing here. And then once you finally get her to where she needs to be, the hardest part are going to be those lines. Like, literally, I kid you not. But you'll get there. Again, the link to the paints are in the description. And I believe you could probably buy these with one color, but I would get the set, because you're going to need to mix the colors. And you see this wet palette here? I have another video coming out on Wednesday where these paints were left here like that on the wet palette. I closed the lid and the paints were as good as new today, which is great. So definitely get a wet palette so that when you do mix your paints, you can bring them back to life, you know. And then let me don't wanna. And that's the varnish. The varnish will create that. And this is looking pretty good. Let me and you will Samsung, and then have fun with it. Just as long as you don't, you know, if you're not going to sell it and you're happy with, you know, the color, but if you are going to sell it, I'd say go to the paint store and have them mix it for you. But then that's not the same, you know. Like that's like you're gonna be left with a big bucket of this blue. So you can just mix it like I'm doing. I'm gonna try and sell it. I'm gonna put it on eBay and see what it sells for. $20, I think, is the you could just use a little more blue to bring her. And again, remember that yellow is gonna bring her back. Bring her back to life. Being able to enjoy the process rather than dreading it was what I was trying to say for that. Yeah, no, enjoy it. Yeah, that's what I'm affair, and that's what we do on the channel. So everything we do on the channel is like getting you started with the process. Like you want a 3D print, great. We'll show you how to 3D print. You want to make your 3D prints perfect, you're gonna have to find another channel, because I am not. You know, I print my shit and I just have fun with it. You know, I don't get into all the tweaking and details. We do, though. We will troubleshoot live. Like, let's say that we print something, our last live stream, we live stream the assembly of the Glock pen, and didn't go as planned. So we'll troubleshoot and have that anal approach so that we can get the print that we had planned our live stream live print working, so that at the end of the video, which might have been like should have been like an hour stream or 45 minutes, might wind up being 3 or 6 hours because we're troubleshooting. But once, you know, we get the kinks out, you know, you're on your own. You know, what took 6 hours will take you 30 minutes, you know, because now you know the solution. So we leave all that stuff in, or when we do an unboxing of a drone and the shit don't work, I'll troubleshoot live. Or sometimes we do live Q&A, so we'll answer someone's question on the live stream, and if it don't work, we'll make sure it works before the end of the question, you know, stuff like that. But other than that, I have fun with it because I like the troubleshooting end of things, which is kind of cool, you know. But other than that, I don't aim for perfection. Even when flying, when I fly my drone in manual mode, I fly in acro, and we have some people that chime in and be like, yo, you shouldn't be doing that. You're going to pick up some bad habits. I'm like, what bad habits? I'm flying my drone. I'm getting from point A to point B with my drone, and no matter, who cares if I'm in acro? Not acro, angle. Sorry, angle. Angle mode works, you know. Angle mode just means you can't do any flips and stuff. On the Avata, I have it in full acro. It's the regular FPV drones that are more harder to tame when you're in acro. So I fly in angle. Angle is just easier, and plus I like to have fun while flying. I don't like to fly in bullet time, so I keep it in angle. No bullet time. You have fun, enjoy the ride, and you can share it. And we have Friday night flights. Every Friday night I take my other big drone out and I fly it around town. She's looking good though. Yeah, it's getting that right mix, you know. And then that's a live stream, live feed. Something else I want to look into is to see if there are denser PLA, because if I ever do sell, I know that some PLAs are light in weight, so that I'm like thinking of ways to try and add some weight to figures. Alright, so for that, that's easy. That could be with any PLA. I'll show you. Let me just put this down. And then I think we'll end in a bit. Let me go to this camera. Hold on one moment, please. So to make it heavier and lighter, you can change the infill density. So let's say this is a rocket. I actually have a video that shows you how to do it. The rocket, it's heavier, right? And it's more denser. You can't break it because the infill is at 100% density. Now, if you have 0% infill, it's going to be light. You know, you drop it, it might break or shatter. But if you take that, any object, put 0% infill in there, you'll be able to crush it with your hands like that. And then, voila. Whoops, don't break your stuff. And then you get that at 0% infill. This isn't PLA though, this is, I believe, TPU, but it doesn't matter. With PLA, it'll just shatter and break. So 100% infill, solid like a rock. You have to use a saw to cut it in half, and you'll see that it's 100% infill inside. And then 0% infill. So it's all about the infill process. And on most prints, by default, I mean, if you check your slicer on infill, it'll be 15%. So that's why by default some prints are lighter. So, you know, I wouldn't say go crazy with the PLA. What do we, oh, we have this here. But here's one that I printed of me. This is me. I printed a 3D version of me, and the infill I think was 20%. But if I went 100, it would be heavier, but it will take longer to print. But just try that. Experiment with it, with the infill. And also go to the forums, because the 3D printing for beginners and pros, those guys take their stuff serious, you know. They go like Tom Cruise on you. You don't know PLA like I do. So, you know, but we're just having fun with it. And I have hyper PLA, this PLA, that PLA, and I find that my prints will you know, be as good as they're going to be depending on the settings. And as you can see here, she's marketable to some extent. You know, the only issue with her, like her colors, they'd be like, yo bro, that's not x23. I'd be like, yeah, it is. It's x23.4. Don't you know? They put her back in the chamber. She's like the other version of this Black Spider-Man. I don't know. Because look, now she's, oh, I can't put her head back on. I'll put it on in another video because we're still painting her and I don't want to mess it up. She's L x23. The L because she's from I don't know, from Italy, northern part. Yeah, so that's hard to say, but what's a snazzy looking figure? What a snazzy looking figure. And it's crazy to think people do flips with their drones. Yeah, I know, right? I do some too, but I'm not a big fan of it. I get nervous. I get nervous when I do flips. I just like to I will do it occasionally just to show, like, hey look, I'm in manual mode. But other than that, it's not really but I love when you fly your drone in manual mode, it gives you a sense of you're really in control. Like, really. That's the beauty of it. I think she's done. I'll probably get some other nooks and, oh man, oh nice, her arms don't require any, her forearms will take black lines, but I'm glad that she's not gonna need any other details except lower part, which will be yellow. So let's try. She's drying really fast, like to the point where I might just try a line or two, but then I have to end. I really want her to be dry. Well, look, we got some shadow. It's great because we got that shadowing going on, right? That Market Bay was, and she really eating up the paint though, like to the point where it's really being absorbed a lot. Yeah, so have fun with it. Experiment. Make it as true, not true, as close to form and character as you can, because you might want to sell it. You might want to become a Patreon, and I don't know. And someone will find it cool. I'll be like, I want that. Like, that will be mine. So now I want to try something else. I just want to leave that blue in here, right? And then I want to take a brush. Because Alexa did say, and these things come in handy, these little, oh wow, sticks that I used for sanding the little crevices, because now I used it for the paint, right? Because what happens is when you sand it down all the way, it's not good anymore. It's like the sandpaper's gone. But Alexa did say mix the yellow and the red to get that. I don't know what she was talking about. Oh yeah, almost. I don't know. Don't want to do too much. It's like an orange, not even yellow. Alexa, what color do I need to mix to make X23's yellow in her costume?
To create X23's yellow, mix bright yellow with a touch of red for warmth.
Touch of red. Right. All right.
Yes, a touch of red.
Got
Mix
it.
bright yellow with just a small amount of red to get that
So it looks
warm
like I added
color
too much
for
red.
X23's costume.
All right. Man, I wish you could go to the comic book store, right? And be like, hi, I need... Imagine they sold the paints. That would be cool.
Oh man, that would be...
No, I wasn't talking to you. Alexa, stop. Never mind, please. Oh yeah, there we go. A touch of red. Wow, she really means a touch of red. Like, a touch is like... So much for that, because this yellow will not be salvageable. But she does get yellow inside of her chest and her inner parts, so I think we'll be alright. I just want to try a line. So in the middle you could cake it on, but this is going to be tricky because there's so much detail that you're going to have to take your time. And the driest part is probably the base, since we spent a lot of time in between her parts, right? So this is the hard part. The easy part is over, because you're going to have to do, I might even have to use my each line like that so that it's perfect. And you might even have to use the magnifier, you know, like to get it just about right. Does she have any on? Oh, nice. I was like, wait, are there any going around the shoes of the sole? Nope. So now this is the hard part. And that's where you'll have to have some spare mix ready. This is the part that's going to need a couple of coats. And it could take up to an hour just to do one boot. And that's where this comes in handy. And if you wear glasses, yeah, say goodbye to that. You're going to need this thing right here. These things. We use them for soldering, but if you have good eyes, you don't need these things. Now I have to put this on. What does it say? I love how pearlescent the blue shows on the X23. When you do add the yellow, it's going to be dynamic. Thanks. Yeah, I appreciate that. The yellow, so, yeah, oh man, the yellow part is going to be really hard. But if you do it correctly, right, and slowly, you'll be all right. And remember, one leg at a time. Whoops. And I mean, just correctly in a sense where going down the line. The color part I'm not worried about. I'm more concerned about staying in the line. You could always use painter's tape to put painter's tape on the around the parts that you don't want to have yellow paint on, or just have your blue brush ready so that you can touch it up, because I can see that she's going to need some touch up with the blue. And you got to remember that she absorbed a lot of the paint, and the original color is gray. So if she was white, it would take more of whatever color you're using to get her the color that she needs to be. I found that when I had painted stuff in the beginning, white is harder. Like if you print something in white, white needs more coating, no matter what. Whereas gray, not so much. Gray is alright. Gray is pretty good. See, and you can fix it wherever you may have accidentally touched. And then looks like I may, oh no, she's fine. You could leave your paintbrush in the water so it doesn't get hard like a rock. And again, don't worry if you mess it up. Yeah, this is the hard part. I'm going to do one boot, and then we'll leave the rest. Yeah, those magnifying glasses come in handy. But she's definitely going to need... And you're right, though. The yellow is going to bring it out. It's just so cool. But, unfortunately, it's going to take a couple of coats of that yellow. Whoops. And I was touching it. But that's alright. Look, it's coming out pretty good. And that's the part. Like, it's like any form of art. It's the colors that are going to bring it to life. Oh, man. That's fine. I always said, oh, man, because it looks like I need to get back in there. And, did I... Can't remember. Can't remember if I added varnish into the yellow. Could always add it. She's gonna need a couple of coats anyway. I'll have to rewind. And you want to spread it. So yeah, so these brushes are great. The brushes, the brush that I'm using comes with the wet palette. You definitely need a number 0. Wow, this is 0. Pretty amazing. And 0 will turn you into the hero painter that you were meant to be. And then those lines, I think we could... she does have some black lines. I can't see if they're in the boots or not. You can add them if you want. But... yeah, I could see how 0 was really making that effect, so that it just works out really well. But it's a tedious process. I think, you know what? I think I'm just gonna do it. One coat though. One coat of the yellow on the boots. But just imagine those guys who paint the figurines, the miniatures. Ay, ay, ay. Nice to have you here. Brando Bear 64. Welcome to the channel. This is cool. Look at that. See, the color brings it to life. This is really cool. Of course, we want it to be a little bit heavier, right? And the black stripes, damn. Black stripes is a bummer because I was hoping I could use this brush. Yeah, maybe I'll do the center and leave the other finer details for last, because the yellow can be used on her chest, that inner part of the costume. What I'll do is I will do the first yellow and like this, and then the second yellow I'll put the varnish in the paint. Just can't remember if I put it in or not. Pretty cool. Look at that. Definitely gonna need another coat. And don't worry if you get any on the boot, because remember, you can fix it later with the blue brush like we did on the other part. I'll show you how to fix it. Like she needs fixing. But we do need another coat, right? Lou, I'm back. Miss me? Yeah, we were talking about you. We were only good things, of course. I forgot what we said, but you'll have to rewind for that. But Swedish Forge is the one who gave us the file. Swedish Forge is going to be spray using an airbrush on his live stream when he does her, and he has her printed at like 5 feet life size that will fit in the car. I'd like to see that. I always wondered how they did that, you know. But make sure I told him to don't just live stream the painting, spray painting or airbrushing. Live stream the like how he's mixing the paints, because it's a process. And I for myself would like to know, because one, I will know whether he shares it or not, because I will, you know, wind up Googling it. So you just got to know when you're making a video that someone's always looking for how to do it. So hopefully Swedish Forge. The only downside for you, Swedish Forge, is that it's going to be a long video. Like, you might have to stop your stream and be like, okay, we'll be back tomorrow, you know, because we need to, now that we've got this set up, make sure you just put in your tags. Oh no, does she? I think she does. Oh, the back of her boots yellow? I don't know. Like, damn it, I don't know. Let's see. She's open here. That goes here. Subscriber prints. X23. I gotta look at her action from behind. Yeah, nice. She has a yellow stripe in the back. I got nervous there. I was like, no. I mean, we could always just paint over it, so that's fine. But I was like, wait. And you're going to need a bigger brush, though, when you do these details. Like, literally. This is so cool. It's relaxing, too. I don't know why I didn't do this a long time ago. So, in case you're wondering, Brando, definitely another coat low, but something else. I noticed that you add the first coat of yellow, it gives off a green byproduct, and naturally I'll go away with more coats. But it reminded me of Rogue's outfit in X-Men 9/7, and it made me chuckle. Like, maybe there's some symbolism behind it. Well, there might be some symbolism behind it. I don't know. There was some symbolism behind. I remember looking for the symbolism in that new series with John Franco in it, when he travels back in time to stop the JFK assassination. They have a lot of symbolism in that. It's really cool, though. I never thought John Franco would do like a drama, because he was always like a clown, you know. And then when I saw him in that new Netflix series, I was like, oh wow, he's a pretty good actor. Yeah, oh, I could see the green. Yeah, it is a little greenish. It's definitely gonna need, gosh, might as well. I don't really think I have to mix the yellow. I think I got to just go with the original yellow, because it has to eat through so much of that bluish black I have going on that I'm just gonna, you know. It is a pretty good series, though. You seen the new series from with John Franco, where he's traveling back in time? And it's not like a hot tub time, it's like a real drama. They've put a lot of work into all the detail, and they put a lot of symbolism in it. Wow. Yeah. Definitely, this is the second coat on this one, and the second coat is coming out really nice. Just gotta make sure we get, and this is 0 on the brush. What's that? Oh. Brush 0. So I'm going to do one more, right, on her boot. Wow, it's looking good though. You can definitely tell the difference. It's coming to life. I don't know how those guys paint those figurines though. Not figurines, the miniatures. Because this is a doable size. And the one Swedish Forge is printing that's 5 foot high. That's going to be easier with the details because you're going to need, you'll have a bigger brush. You know? A bigger brush. And if you mess it up, you can definitely oh man. Oh yeah. So definitely the boots, they're basically everything. I would say paint before you glue her. Because I could see you putting your head all up in her ass just to get in there to do what I'm doing right now. And then have the spare paints ready. Not spare paint, spare paint brush, right? So that you can do this. Keep it out of the water, right? Make sure it's really dry. And then tap it. I mean, Swedish Forge knows this because he's the one who's painting and printing for a long time. And just get in there. And then looks like I have to get out of there because I added too much blue, but that's okay because fixing it is so much easier. See? And then if we add a little more black, we can fix that dark bluish. Plus it's her boot anyway, so. And they get rid of that greenish color that he was talking about. Brando Bear. Sweet. Wow, it's getting there. So we'll let the boots dry, right? And while that's drying, apply and let dry. Now we can go make sure you have nothing on the other brush, or just use a new brush if you want to. In this case, excuse me, I'm gonna take the other brush and put it in fresh water, and then of course make sure our paper towel, because we don't want to cross-contaminate, especially if we are going to start using the yellow, right? So make sure it's thoroughly clean, because if we get a hint of blue in that yellow, we're not, you know, so you make sure it's, or just get another brush, whichever works. But now this part is going to be a little bit, use a hair dryer, it goes fast. Oh yeah, not a bad idea. So now this part from the front, hold on, I just need to get a frontal picture of her, a bigger one. That's weird. Where is the one that I just had? That one, that one. I thought I had another picture of her. Oh yeah, she's on my desktop. There we go. Because I need to get this, I'll show you. I want to see how far in the yellow goes. Okay. So yeah, this part does take longer. Sam sent me stuff. And so now, since we're not going to be using any more detail, so that one can go into the freshwater brush. And then, but I'm in no hurry, because remember, this print you gave us is going to last a couple of weeks. You know, we're gonna, I see 2 more sessions we get out of her. Man, bummer. So I see that it's yellow on one side, but that zipper in the middle has a hint of red in it. So in the meantime, what we can do is just you'll have to wait for the and the lines on the side are black. Don't worry if you get paint on her belt, because remember, we're going to paint it. And it looks like it's going to take a couple of coats. The line down the middle is going to be a different shade of yellow, but you can run that line down later, because we're going to have to do more than one coat on here anyway. You know, this one we'll have to let dry. You can use a hair dryer like Swedish Forge suggests, but I think I'm gonna, how far does it go? So the inner boob, like it's like a cutout. You can see that it goes, I'll just trace it. This part is tricky, but we don't want to, because the inner boob stays, you'll see when I'm done. Looks like, okay, there's like a line going around it. You'll see if you look at the picture. A little bit of a bummer, because damn, you're gonna need it. She's gonna need a couple of coats, a couple of sessions, but thankfully it goes all the way up, it looks like, to the inner collar. And she's really absorbing it. You might have to do the inner collar with one of the finer brushes, and then stroke it differently so that we get better better results with the lines. This is nice. Yeah, it's getting there. Remember, if you rush, you're gonna mess it up. So like, this is the kind of paint job where it could take a couple of days or a couple of weeks, you know, because you're doing a little bit at a time. Like, we're gonna stop today and leave her, what's it called, the tuxedo part of her costume, because she's definitely gonna need for this to dry so that the everything can be absorbed. And you can see it's soaking it up, and you got to really work it in there. You got to do like I'm doing right now. But I can't wait to see the Swedish Forge, how he does it with the spray paint. Are you going to use tape and tape part of it, like to cover it? And so the other part of her boob, you got to do the same thing. Kind of like the penguin, you know, like, it's really tricky because you got to not, you'll see in the picture. I'll show you guys what I'm trying to do. It does look cool though, but it is a work in progress. And then oh yeah, the inner chest, that line in the costume, we'll have to mix the yellow when the time comes to get it that right hint of like reddish, like a zipper going down. That's probably it. Maybe that's her zipper. It's possible, right? Might be how she takes off her costume. Which superhero has their costume on, like, that will never come off? I guess the Hulk, right? I loved watching the Hulk growing up. The Hulk outs were the best. Mr. McGee, don't get me angry. You won't like me when I'm angry. They have a whole video compilation of Hulk outs. And then David, Dr. Banner. I never thought they would make it into a movie though. Which is still cool. This part's tricky. The neck we can do last because we'll have to get in there with the details to cover so that, you know, the collar I think is black-ish. Not black, the same color with the blue, sorry. So don't worry if you get any there, you can fix it later. And as you can see, she's definitely going to need another coat. And see, you do it really slow. If you do it slow, she'll be alright. And then what you'll do is, and then you want to make sure your strokes are even, because she's gonna dry that way. So make sure the strokes are exactly the way you want her to dry. Sweet. Almost there. And see, and you don't want it to cake on in certain spots too. And there we go. Whoops. My hand, you heard the table shake. Thankfully, my arm dropped. And I was like, no. And if there's too much paint in one area, just work it. Work it around. Work it in areas that need it. Slide down the brush. Or you could just tap it on the palette. And then it'll absorb it. And then just spread it as needed. Because she's going to need, I'd say like maybe 5 coats. And don't worry if you get it on her belt, because remember, she's going to need to be painted. The belt's getting painted its own color. But it's getting, oops, it's getting there. It's coming to life. And just like Brendo had said, that yellow is going to bring it to life. Wow, this is so cool. Look in there, and once we make that yellow darker, somehow we'll figure out that blue. But you can take her in your hand, put her upside down, and then get in there. And if you need to get in there, the brush is too big, don't worry about it. Use the smaller brush for the details. And you might have to unless you're really good at painting, you might have to do the front first before you actually get to the back, because remember, it's just some yellow happening behind her too, and you got to follow those lines. A little bit of a bummer, but Still good. She's getting that X-Men yellow happening. Sweet. Kind of neat, huh? And then looks like we could use some paint there, but I'll use the finer detail brush for that. One more coat on the it's amazing how much yellow was there, right? And how it really absorbs the paint. I'm gonna spread this out as much as I can, and then oops, that's okay. We can remember anything that accidentally gets paint on it can be fixed with the number 0. See, this one isn't 0 though. I wonder what number this one is. 4. Number 4. Fantastic 4. Like, that's not x23, that's Fantastic 4. Just put a number on her, right? Whoops. I spoke too soon. It's alright though. We'll fix all those fine details later. Or even now. I think I'll fix it now. Yeah, because once you start painting it and it starts to smear, it just means that the coat is done. Just let it dry. Which is what I'll do in a second. I'm gonna do one more bit of yellow here. And then another bit of yellow on the other side. Work our way up. Work our way up. Shade it over. Where does it need it? It's getting there, and then more on the other side. Maybe a little too much. Take that extra and then tap it in there. Remember, any of the finer details can be gotten with the finer brush. You know, no sense. Just get what you can while you can, and then voila. Wow. So you just got to take your time, and then you can run your hand down and get those somewhat imperfections out. Yeah. So that's why I will have to wait. I'll definitely do her boots next. And then we'll get more of her in a bit. But she's coming along to some extent, you know. We're not curators, but we're just having fun with it. having put her head back on and see how she looks. And oh wow, nice. So we don't have to go all to town on her rear when it comes to those stripes in the back. I think her back matches the front, but let's see how far we've gotten. Hold on. See? So it's gonna need another few coats on the front, right? And then on the back, looks like we have to follow the same line, so our costume in the back, but we can't paint the back because the front is wet and I need to hold it. But other than that, I'll probably make another thumbnail out of her, but she's getting there. It's gonna probably take 3 or 4 coats for the center, that little part, and then the boots too, like Brando had mentioned, so we can bring it more to life. But she's getting there. And then we have our claws. I think her claws, we'll find a nice shade of gray. We'll do that. We'll paint those last, because as you see, we were gonna get paint in certain parts that we don't want to, but she is getting there. Wow. Oh yeah, I have to paint the back of her boot. See how she has a line. Oh, is that on it? Here. One boot has a line and the other one doesn't. So you want to make sure so that the layers are evened out as we apply more layers of paint to her. But it's pretty cool. Definitely looks great. Can't wait to get those other layers on. But that is, sure, you want to take off her head. So her head, and make sure you put varnish in the coat. I'm definitely going to mix it with varnish before I seal it, so that it gets that same shine. And that's it. The end of our stream. What did you say I should do? Oh yeah, you have to scroll back and see. I think I shared though. That is pretty much it. I hope that this video helped you. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them down below, or ideas for other videos. Remember to like and subscribe, and we'll see you all next time. All right, we're done. Well, you're done. You guys can leave now. And now I'm going to close out the show with a nice intro, and we'll see you guys.
It's a beautiful day at the beach. I was losing my mind for about a week until I could call you up. I'll meet you at the waterline. Birds are flying up above. We both need a little love. Hiding a million different things. Waiting for the nighttime to see what it brings. And I'm still living deep in my head. Sometimes I feel my heart is dead. Maybe tonight, baby, but I love instead. Yeah, I'm still living deep in my head. Sometimes I feel my heart is dead. Maybe tonight, baby, but I love instead. Yes, I know we're not the same. I'm so tired of playing games. You don't have to be so hard. Just tell me your dreams, the things you like. What turns you off, what makes you doubt. I'll tell you my deepest secrets. I wanna let them out. Hiding a million different things. Waiting for the nighttime to see what it brings. And I'm still living